Appreciation. Golden Krust founder's story inspired. Lowell Hawthorne spoke with a raspy voice with an easy laugh, in an accent that gave him away instantly as a proud son of Jamaica. He lent that raspy voice, and his entrepreneurial zeal, to creating something where there was nothing. Jobs for hundreds, scholarships for those with similar backgrounds, awards that honored contributions by fellow Caribbeans. Hawthorne, 57, the president and chief executive officer of Golden Krust Bakery and Grill, died Saturday in a suicide at the Bronx plant where he built his family-run company. The New York City Medical Examiner's Office has ruled the Golden Krust CEO's death a suicide, saying the cause was a gunshot wound to the head. The successful Caribbean food chain Hawthorne created now reaches from East Coast storefronts and ShopRites to Costco's in California, with more than 120 franchises at selling Jamaican beef patties, jerk chicken, sauces and authentic breads of the island. Golden Krust planned to build a $37 million world headquarters on Route 303 in Orangetown, and had signed papers with the Rockland County Industrial Development Agency to create more than 80 new manufacturing jobs there. Greenburgh Town Supervisor Paul Finer knew Hawthorne, whom he met when the entrepreneur opened a franchise near the Apple Farm store several years ago. Lowell was an exceptionally nice man who cared about the community, Finer said Sunday. He was also humble. Golden Krust and Lowell Hawthorne gave back to the community. Hawthorne established the Mavis and Ephraim Hawthorne Golden Krust Foundation, which for a dozen years has given out excellence awards and scholarships to those with roots in the Caribbean and beyond. The foundation is named after his parents. In 2011, Tiffany Chandler won a Hawthorne scholarship to study at Fordham University. In a testimonial on the company's website, she wrote, "The award ceremony is one I will always remember because of the pride I felt of having the Jamaican culture a part of my heritage. I sincerely want to thank you for investing in my future, and with your help I am off to a great start." Overcoming challenges. Hawthorne, who lived in Greenburgh, liked to talk about challenges he had overcome to become a successful businessman. It's ground he covered in his 2013 book, The Baker's Son, and in talks to anyone who would listen, whether at his annual Excellence Awards dinner or at a NIAC library talk about publishing. His story was a good one, and he liked to share it. It began in 1960 in a tiny Jamaican hilltop town called Border, where his father baked breads and sweets. Lowell, the sixth of 11 children, started in business at age 10, raising rabbits, chickens and guinea pigs. That enterprise, he wrote, led him to start to think in multiples. He then became a successful minibus driver, ferrying tourists and college students into bustling Kingston. He moved to the United States, arriving the day after he turned 21. In the customs line at John F. Kennedy International Airport, he concluded, "This is the kind of place that embraces immigrants." He stocked inventory at the NIPE, studied at Bronx Community College and became an accountant. Soon, he was an accountant in the NIPE pensions department. In 1989, his father gathered the family together and suggested they set up a little place to sell Jamaican breads and buns, as he had done in Border. And Golden Krust was born, with contributions from all sorts of Hawthorns. In nearly 30 years, the family-run business has grown to occupy an entire city block on Park Avenue in the Bronx, between Yankee Stadium and the Bronx Zoo. It was there that Hawthorne took his life. Plans in Rockland. Hawthorne's death raises questions for his friends and family, and for grand plans he had. He had been in talks for years to locate the Golden Krust World headquarters in Orangetown, in an industrial park on Route 303. The $37 million facility, near a sprawling FedEx hub off Al Foxy Way about a mile south of the State Thruway, was to consolidate all of Hawthorne's operations, manufacturing, distribution and corporate. There were to be 190 employees, 83 of whom would be filling new manufacturing jobs in Rockland. Lorraine Hawthorne Morrison, Golden Krust's Vice President of Real Estate Development, confirmed in 2016 that the 17-acre site would let the company grow more than it could at its longtime location, built in 1996. The full cost of the project, according to Golden Krust's application to the Rockland Industrial Development Agency, was projected to be $37.2 million. Opportunity in crisis. In a 2013 interview, after The Baker's Son was published, Hawthorne talked about finding opportunity in crisis, those in the workplace and on the home front. There was the patty crisis, when a competitor refused to sell Hawthorne the beef patties he needed. With very little notice, Hawthorne had to devise a recipe to replace the Jamaican staple, a pocket of bright orange dough enveloping a spicy beef mixture. He turned to his father. "My dad, a man of wisdom, kept telling us to be calm. Relax, everything's going to be okay, trust in the Lord," Hawthorne recalled. "And I was like, Dad, you can't be for real." I have no patties and you're telling me everything's going to be okay? But Ephraim Hawthorne's words put his son on an odyssey to create his own beef patty. The journey took him to London for the perfect dough recipe, to Chicago for the machinery to form the dough and patties, and then to Jamaica for a chef with a secret recipe. He laughed when he recalled tracking down an old-timer named Mel he had heard of, semi-retired and living in Maidstone, Manchester, Jamaica. I had no address to go on, no next of kin or friend's address, no listing of any kind that I can use to find him, he said with his raspy laugh. I went around the town asking, "Do you know Mel? Do you know Mel?" I felt like I was on a journey to nowhere. We found Mel, who soon came to the United States and delivered just the right mix of beef, scallions and spices. And Golden Krust had its own patty. The factory cranks out 400 a minute. The lesson learned from that is opportunity through crisis, Hawthorne said. Had we not been cut off from our patty supply, we would not have achieved the success we have today. We would not have become one of the largest Caribbean businesses in this country. We have an endowment, with scholarships, 120 franchises, and we employ 230 people on this block. The challenges weren't only in the business world. For years, Hawthorne and his family, 3 sons and a daughter, lived on Norwood Road in Greenburgh. When he purchased land across the street, and moved into the Pocantico Hills School District, he began to build his home. Arriving at the excavation site one day, he and his family saw that someone had spray-painted racist graffiti on the lumber and the bulldozer. It was a painful experience for all of us, he said. We had lived in the community for 10 years. We just moved across the street. But when we moved in, I called the entire community and invited them into my house, served them some Golden Krust patties, and it worked out well. The lesson was to always show folks love in adversity. Staff writer Tom Zombito contributed to this report. Golden Krust by the numbers. Founded in the 1980s in St. Andrew, Jamaica, by Ephraim and Mavis Hawthorne. U.S. operations, with Lowell Hawthorne as CEO, began in 1989 on Gun Hill Road in the Bronx. First factory, opened in 1996 on Park Avenue in the Bronx. Franchises, more than 120 in 9 states. Planned world headquarters, 17 acres at Route 303 at Alfoxy Way, Orangetown. Scale, 100,000 square foot, with bakery, corporate and distribution. Bottom line, facility is projected to cost $37.2 million. Tax exemptions, $1.2 million. New jobs, 83. Opening date, TBA.